Guys, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Regai ndibukwasa vari kupinda naye makadi zvenyu mese muchangotibata zvakawanda. It's very unfortunate guys kuti nezuro hatina kukwanisa kuzosangana. Ndakazoita busy nezvinhu zvaidiwa nhasi kuchikoro, but ndakakwanisa kupedza, ndakakwanisa kumaneja. Regai nditsvage mic yangu, sefe mazwi. Tsvaga mic tisefe mazwi. Ndokamushini kanosefa mazwi katora kuisa ikakaka. Hello Mr. Pamire, zviri sei? Tora kusefa mazwi. Izwi ribude zvariri. Baba spilile unjani yapila. Maswera sei Mazimba? Ndo kano kanosefa mazwi aka. Kakaka. Ndo kanosefa mazwi. Tosefa mazwi. Tive nezwi rakanaka. Muchindinzwa mese kumativi mana enyika. Ndoitika wenyu Shepherd Yuda. Nezuro takatadza kunyatso kuya kuzotandara because of some reasons, but now I've got just 1 hour guys, that I can't go and do what I want to do without coming here to discuss certain issues with you. So I've seen it worth to say let me come and we chat, we talk. Zenda unochengeta ndebvu chitadza uchengeta mari. Bururu wedu wekuzana mazano aya. So what I'm going to talk about is about brutal. If you look at the Zimbabwe government is embarked on a brutal campaign of abductions, torture and unlawful killings of civilians in our country. All these killings that have taken place in our country are unlawful. The state has got no right to kill anyone, to kidnap anyone, to torture anyone. As a result, a lot of Zimbabweans are scattered around the world. Where we went to different countries. I feel very sorry for Zimbabweans who went to countries like South Africa, who went to countries like Kuwait. It's so sad what we are going through in those countries. Those countries, some of them did not accept us. If they look at us, they see us as a threat to their jobs, a threat to their survival, a threat to their everything. But these people do not understand the dynamics of Zimbabwe politics that has led to millions running away or leaving Zimbabwe. How are you? So please go ahead and post ya Benson matinyara about disappearance of Italy Zamara utaura zvinorwadza mhuri yekwa Dzamara. This is what has prompted me to come live here. Thank you, Mr. Kavgatema. The brutal campaign by Zimbabwe government abducting, torture, and unlawful killing of Zimbabweans or against Zimbabweans accused of collaborating with the opposition is something that has led millions of Zimbabwe to leave our country. When they leave the country, they go to different I missed it. How can I get the video? They go to different countries like South Africa, Kuwait, countries that are hostile to human life, countries that do not respect human life. All what you have seen, guys, today, this morning, I just woke up. I've got a friend on WhatsApp, Shower. He texted me, he said, Shepherd, do you still remember Annie, the girl who used to feature in Studio 7, a prominent figure in a soap, Studio 7 in Zimbabwe? I said, yes. Oh, really? Unfortunately, she has been murdered in South Africa. She has been killed in South Africa. Brighton, how are you? They got killed. What do you mean? Because we didn't want to miss that soap. Anamai Jari, Baba Jari. I think 90% of the actors, they have died now. Even Anna Muvengwa, I can't remember some of the names. Baba Jari, Mai Jari, Wana Jabu. It was a nice soap. It was a nice soap. We didn't know about soaps, so we were saying, oh, these guys, they're good at acting and so forth, especially Vimbai. People has raised certain issues, political issues, to say, look, that Vimbai Jari was ZANU-PF. She's the girl who bad or who made Zodwa Wabantu not to come to Zimbabwe. A lot of accusations have been raised against that girl. She was 38, no longer a girl. At 38, she was old enough to have been a mother. And someone was saying she doesn't have kids, she wasn't married. Someone was saying she was ZANU-PF person who barred Zodwa Wabantu to come to Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, she went down to South Africa, where she was working in Durban. Is it Durban or Joburg as a waitress? A lot of things has been said against this girl. So my appeal to the people of Zimbabwe is like, we have political differences in our country. We really understand that ZANU-PF has been involved in abductions, killings, torture. And some of these girls, they were just there to try and eat. You understand? I think you know where I'm coming from. Tendai Jari, I think she's now a member of parliament in ZANU-PF. I understand so. And these people were saying she's João concubine, you know, Patrick João. A lot of things have been said. But the bottom line is, she was in the entertainment industry. She entertained the Zimbabweans on ZTV. It was a better soap that I watched and we watched. Zimbabweans watched. So, to me, we have been robbed of someone important. Not in politics, but in the entertainment industry, in the arts industry of our country. Those people entertained us. It doesn't mean that she was the best actor in our country, no. But she was someone who participated in a soap that every Zimbabwean loved. We never knew about her ZANU-PF involvement until at a certain stage where people were saying she's a concubine, Patrick Joao, then Tedai goes on to be member of parliament for ZANU-PF and so forth. I'm letting come, not very much late, I've just started and I've got few minutes to go through what I want to go through. It's pathetic and it's appalling that we seem like we don't respect the dead. People like Benson Matinyararire, he's just an attention seeker, someone who just seek attention for the wrong reasons. We sympathize when people die. Itai Dzamara was abducted, tortured and murdered illegally by a regime of old people who do not care about what you eat today, people who do not look at what the population is surviving on. Already they are looking for the next election. What have you done for this, for the promises that you made to the people of Zimbabwe in 2018? That we are going to build hospitals, we are going to make sure medication is available for every Zimbabwean, and we are going to ensure our roads are passable, and we are going to ensure that every Zimbabwean is housed. These were the ZANU-PF promises in 2018. Housing for all, electricity, jobs for all. How many people have been employed by ZANU-PF government? So this is something that Zimbabweans should take note of as we move towards 2023 elections. If we look back, we had the likes of Mugabe with 7 degrees, who was surrounded by stooges, people who did not know what they were doing, who were praise singers for Mugabe. And they are the same people who are still here around, who are still around with us once Mugabe is long gone. These people, they do not care about you. They do not care about me. Their government does not cater for you and me. It's a government for their relatives and friends. So if we look at the entertainment industry, last time I posted a picture. Ndakatora picture ya Madam Boss akasimudza hapwa achiratidza bvudzi remuhapwa. Kanzi Yeshua Mugabe, yes, Mugabe had 7 degrees. Mugabe madegree acho, I think mama anga angopuwa neUniversity of Zimbabwe. Leadership, that calling. Yes, this is why I was looking at a picture yaChamisa akamira naBiti, akamira na Job Scala. Chamisa was born in 1979. Scala, BT, I think they were born in 1966 or so. Chamisa being the youngest leader in our country. That's a calling. Leadership is a calling. Leadership is a calling. Anzi ya vimbiso zisina zadziso imagine wachiti maflats ekumbare to be demolished. Exactly. Mkoma Donald. That's another point. Emerson Mnangagwa went to Mbare. Akamhanyirwa nevanhu akatendera akati no vanhu vanogara zvakanaka. We have to demolish these flats tivake zvakanaka. Honorary, I think some of them were honorary degrees at Tete Floor. Thank you. Vakati kumbare kunofana kudemolishwa, kunofana kuvakwa zvakanaka, this and that. Up to now, nothing has been done. That was before 2018 election. The problem of Zimbabwe is that most of the times people vote for an individual, but the clever people should vote for principles. Zimbabwe is a two-part country. The other one is conservative and the other one is labor. So people in Zimbabwe, they don't vote the way we vote in the UK. Thank you, Ngoma Charles, for bringing that. They don't do it the way we do it in the UK. In the UK, we don't vote for Boris. No, we vote for the principle. What do you offer? What do you offer? If you look at ZANU-PF today, it has offered nothing since 1980. And if they go for an election, they don't mind about all these promises that they give you. They know that they are lying to you and they've lied to you. So what they do is they use violence, they use coercion, they use intimidation to make you fear, to instill fear in you so that they can extract your vote. Most people, like in the rural areas, they vote ZANU-PF because of fear. They see people being abducted, houses being razed to the ground, burned to the ground. At the end, they vote ZANU-PF. I had a very productive decision this afternoon, or a discussion with my Sekuru Blessing, we were talking about the issue of MDC Alliance being bankrupt. As I'm talking right now, the party is bankrupt. All the monies that were supposed to go to that party were never given to that party by ZANU-PF. They went to a loser, a person who lost the election. People who were rejected by Zimbabweans. Those are the people who were given MDC Alliance money. They recalled members of parliament because they belonged to MDC Alliance. Surprisingly, they are receiving funds for MDC Alliance and they are squandering those funds. You understand what we call double standards? Now they've seen that the parliament is giving them MDC Alliance money. They are calling themselves MDC Alliance. They are calling, we are the owners of MDC Alliance. We are the MDC Alliance. But when they recalled members of parliament, they said these members of parliament have joined another political party known as MDC Alliance. So we are recalling them. When they receive money in parliament, it's written MDC Alliance. They receive the money for MDC Alliance and they are recalling MDC Alliance to say they've joined a different party known as MDC Alliance. And they go there, Douglas Monzora is a confused cockroach, goes there and say, I'm the leader of MDCT, therefore I'm the leader of MDC Alliance. And you have recalled members of MDC Alliance. You understand what we mean? And you know, Namkoma Manuel Gokwe, unit government yakaitwa MDC ZANU is now strong because of that. I don't believe that ZANU-PF is strong. Because if we go to 2018 elections, they lost it. That means it's not strong. ZANU-PF is not strong. They lost that election. If you see the campaign material that ZANU-PF had, they had no restrictions. They could move everywhere where they want. They campaigned everywhere. But still their president lost that election. List of President Mugabe's 18 degrees, 7 academic, 11 honorary, 3 revoked. President Gabriel Mugabe, Africa's most educated man. He led the most, he destroyed a hand that laid golden eggs for Africa. And we should be voting using Western style. That doesn't work in Africa. Bob Wine is a good example and was robbed even though he had a landslide victory by Britain still ended himself. Yeah, that's the problem. Even if you look at the 2018 elections, the British were the ones who supported Idi Mnangagwa. The British ambassador used to wear that scarf going around campaigning for Emerson Mnangagwa. You understand? And when they thought he was going to change, if ZANU was strong, elections could be fair. That's true. ZANU-PF is not a strong party. It's the weakest party in our country. This is why you see elections are never free and fair. Because they know they can't play a free and fair game. 2008, they did a free and fair election in March. And Mugabe was... You understand what I mean? Antodama reforms, they can't reform themselves out of power. You understand? So, the political scenario at now in Zimbabwe, if you look at the 2018, it is a devastating scenario that we have in our country. We've got government forces that have been responsible for the majority of violations, including abductions, killings, and so forth in the country every time we go for an election. If you look at the crimes against humanity these people have committed, definitely they warrant to be taken to international court, to be tried in an international court. They've subjected millions of Zimbabweans to arbitrary detention, to torture, and other treatment, including enforced disappearance. If you look at what the Ferret were doing, they were carrying out enforced disappearance of Zimbabweans. Up to now, we still have Itai Dzamara still missing. Itai Dzamara is nowhere to be seen because of the uniformed forces that Zimbabweans have. That enforced disappearance of Itai Dzamara, the government is accountable. And the government has to give an explanation to the nation. Akuna, muno mu England, muno mugadzi munashaika, baba, they hunt down. The police gets busy. You understand? So those abuses by state armed groups like the Ferret, they're human rights. They're crimes against human rights, crimes against humanity. And thanks, Mr. Nenyai. So this is what we are looking into, guys. That's what we are looking into. The suffering of civilians in our country. Armed groups, ZANU-PF armed groups calling themselves Ferret, calling themselves army, calling themselves police, committing serious crimes or violations against innocent people of Zimbabwe. And millions of people, millions of Zimbabweans have become victims of ZANU-PF. And if you look at the international humanitarian law, it's not taking action. People who say they are like enforcers of that humanitarian law in the world, they're ignoring the situation that is happening in our country in Zimbabwe. Ndazonzwa and depends live. In a problem, if I try to get you in here, Munya, then the volume will go. So we won't be able to but tomorrow probably I might have another phone to use for calling. When I'm live on Facebook, I give opportunity to people who want to contribute to call on a phone so that they can contribute. And ukaona government create armed groups, then they call them Ferret, Vanani. That government should be held accountable for their crimes. And those groups should still be held accountable for their crimes. You understand? And if it's neutral crimes, why only against ZANU-PF or opposers? That's what we want to ask. The situation in Zimbabwe at the moment is situation yekuti kunyangwe pakatwa ma-reforms akanzi pane ma-reforms ZANU-PF knows that a lot of people are going to be arrested. So what they want is, before they do any reform, what they are demanding, it's like they are demanding immunity. But how can we give immunity to people who made a whole human being disappear? Itaizamara isitsone yakawira mjecha yekuti inotsvagwa vanhu mujecha kuti apa tingaiwana papi panapa. Tutara munhu mukuru akaita seni. Zvakanaka madzibaba Josh ndinoya kuinbox kwenyu ndiri kupedza mai manje. Saka I just want to highlight certain issues here that I feel as Zimbabweans we should be dwelling in much. We should be dwelling in much, because what the government of Zimbabwe is trying to gain is just increasing control of the political arena. This is why you see now they are singing that old song, One Party State. In a 21st century, no matter how much we are educated in our country, those idiots, they still believe in a one-party state ideology, which was introduced in 1460 by the Chinese, mambo zvekuchina kuzvimabuddha kuma 1690 1640. That ideology now, Saka ZANU-PF was trying to take us back to 1640 so that they can introduce a one-party state. That is what we must say no to it. No to one-party state. No to one-party state. And because once they do a one-party state, that's the end of every Zimbabwean. That's the end of you. Unenge uchinzi muZimbabwe wega wega anenge ane drum rake resulfuric acid pa one-party state unonongudika ikoko. So what we are saying is no to one-party state. We have seen how evil one-party state is like in Zimbabwe. When the Gukura Hundu was initiated to try and dismantle the ZAPU, when Zumu came in and was dismantled, we saw the one-party state ideology. People being killed, people being tortured, people being abducted and murdered. So the ideology of 1600 years, 1500 years, 1400 years, that should not be an ideology that our age should be saying, hey, we shouldn't be doing that. Youth must be taking place, youth must be taking their positions. And I know, I'm sorry, Chango my imagine, 15 minutes atanga. And remember that America and UK are the police who are always determining who has committed crimes worth for the voicing. Definitely yes. But what are they doing about Zimbabwe? What are they doing about Zimbabwe? Everything that is happening now, these idiots are blaming the ZIDERA. They're blaming ZIDERA. But if you look back, let's look back 1997. Before ZIDERA was put there, they printed money, 50,000 each to every war veterans, including thieves, people who never went to war. Vana vakazvarwa 1969. Hondo yakapera wane 10 years. Mukadzi akafa kwa mtaro yo, hondo yakapera ane 5 years. They were compensated as war veterans. People who do not deserve the money. They were given that money. And akuna economy no mira kuti president andara kuti prinda mari. Mushini ngaurara uchi production yakamira. Mushini wemari uri kuprinda. So what we call inflation is just a lot of money chasing few goods. Printing more money, loads of money. Chasing what? One loaf of bread. Production is stopped. But the government is printing money to pay useless people, thieves, Vana vavo. And the rest are starving. Zimbabweans are starving. They're not doing anything. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at this issue of these armed groups, these bandits in our country masquerading as government. And so where is our hope after all this discussion? Because Zimmer won. Our hope is you, Mr. Walt and Mr. Shepherd Judah. We are our hope. Let's stand up and say no. We have seen examples of people standing up and saying no to oppression. A very good example is Sudan. Recently, they hosted Omar al-Bashir. Hakuna mnaichikisa mu Africa Samwama Gaddafi. Mama Gaddafi had the army. Yain's Kamis Brigade, which was owned by his son Kamis. And that army had its barracks and torture camps. When Gaddafi was hosted, millions of bodies were found in those barracks. Massive graves of Libyans who were being abducted like what we're seeing today in Zimbabwe. Massive graves were found in Libya. Kamis, he's lucky that he was killed. But massive graves at Kamis Brigade were found of people, or those people who were going missing around Libya. They were found there. We don't doubt it now that even Itai Dzamara is in the hands of the government. It's the government who has got Itai Dzamara. They know where they buried him. They know where they put him. And in Matebeleland, people faced the police fearlessly against the Mohad son-in-law land grabbing issue. That's the spirit we need now. That's the spirit that we need to stand up for ourselves. We cannot stand up because we watched. You understand? In 2000, Zimbabweans were watching helplessly whilst industries were being invaded by Anzani Chimdara Chamuti Anzi Ichemandevu Ichibenzi. Chakafoma Zimbabwe Zimbabwe Federation of Trade Fair invading companies, demanding 51% share. How can you just go at a company and say Shepherd is now a shareholder, 51%, and the owner of a company gets nothing? The industry collapsed because of Chinotimba. The farms collapsed because of Chenjerai Wunji. And the government never took action, supported them. They killed the agriculture sector. They killed the industrial sector. Now, Zimbabweans are suffering. Zimbabweans are starving. Zimbabweans are scattered all over looking for jobs. Because Chinotimba invaded companies and demanded 51%. Those companies closed. And they opened elsewhere. And we are following them there to look for a job. How stupid is it? ZANU-PF people scattered all over the world looking for jobs. But they were saying they need 51%. And those guys said, okay, you need 51%. There's a company. I'm going. They left. And that company is closed. You can't even reopen that company. What do you call his name? This guy. Omotniki Mangwana. Akamira before 2018 elections. I got in April 2018. Sorry guys, my mic is. In April 2018, cold storage machine will be operating, employing 6,000 people. We are yet to see cold storage in full operation. And they are now talking about 2023. They are telling you that 2023, in April 2023 or May, cold storage will be operating, employing 6,000 people. The same they told you before 2018 elections. And we are opening our ears listening to Nick Mangwana. Honestly, believing what Nick Mangwana will write and say. We saw his lies from 2023, from 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, kusvika rini? Until when? Until when? Honestly, we've been believing lies. We've been told lies ever since. And we're still waiting for lies to be fed lies. And people will say, yeah. 2023 is ZANU-PF fair. We are not serious, guys. Most of these people, they unlawfully killed our relatives, killed our friends, killed children in their homes. And these attacks were done publicly in Zimbabwe. This is something that baffles me. All these attacks that I'm talking about, people being bent, people being killed, the attacks were done publicly. And you still see other people still assisting ZANU-PF. Other people still believing in ZANU-PF. Believing in ZANU-PF. They grabbed Mkomachal. They grabbed everything. Grabbed land, grabbed farms. Ma farms avakatora achoka. Most of those farms akatotorwa kunokohwa. Zvoti kungonopinda paprazo nderangu murungu ibva otosiya zvese nemapendi. Vototora iyo maZANU-PF votokuwanisa GMB onisa nana CMB zvasina kurima. Yotouya mari yestart. Vakuswera vachienda kumabhaa vachikwira ndege vachinobhenga mari dzacho kunana Swiss Bank. Now the country is reeling in poverty. There is starvation in our country. They come to you and say, command agriculture, command the parliament, command everything. They've disbanded ZANU-PF, militarized everything. Ladies and gentlemen, until when are we going to live with abductions? Until when are we going to live with torture? Until when are we going to endure these attacks without taking action against ZANU-PF? If you look at what they are doing to their main rival political party, MDC Alliance, Mugabe spent all his life as president of Zimbabwe fighting opposition, recruiting people, paying people to fight Ndabaningi story, recruiting people, paying more money to fight Joshua Nkomo, recruiting more people, paying them loads of money to fight Morgan Changirai. If he was using that money to build our hospitals, to build our infrastructure, munofunga kuti Mugabe kadai asina kuita hero here mimi. Honestly, Maria itora achibhadhira vanhu vainopwanya vana Tsvangirai, achibhadhira vanhu vainopwanya vana mazumu, because it is aishandisa the whole state machinery, paying them loads of money to go and dismantle Zoom, dismantle MDC, dismantle ZAPU. All the monies dzenyika dzaienda kunofighta political opponents, fighting for political office. If you give him the political office, or if he declares himself president of a country, he has no clue whatsoever how to run that country. Wabvuta masimba, chiratidza vanhu ka kundabvuta masimba ndinogona kutunga. Hapana chatiri kuona chiri kuitwa muZimbabwe, hapana. Tikuona red carpet madhaga achinoona pombi. Tikuona red carpet madhaga achinovhura Mnangagwa ari kunovhura bhora chibhorani. Imagine chibhorani chekuti ini ndocheresa changu pamba. Official opening of a bowl. Tikuona red carpet. People achita official opening of bean, Skippy bean. Honestly, if I count, town yandogara is a very small town in the UK. Murodi yandogara, road diki. Ndikafamba murodi mandogara, I can count 10 Skippy beans there. Imagine if Boris was coming to officially open each and every Skippy bean murodi munomu. Aita makore mangani Boris asingatonge nyika. You understand what I mean? What I'm trying to show you guys, I'm trying to show you that we don't deserve the suffering that we are under ZANU-PF. Naishtaura nasekuru vangu nasi. You know that I'm shocked. Guys, I'm shocked. Hanzi kune bhazi reDelta rinoenda every month ku South Africa. That bhazi reDelta rinotora maZimbabweans ku South Africa. ZANU-PF government is receiving money from United Nations. COVID. The COVID money. From who? Maria varikuito vanayo. Varikuitora hanzi varikuenda ku South Africa nebhazi reDelta. Vachisvika vachitora vanhu ku South Africa hanzi victims COVID maZimbabweans ariko asina chekudya chiobva vanzitokupa $60 hande yekumusha bhazi vachitakura vanhu kubva South Africa nana kumusha vachipa munhu $60. Imagine. Pataitarira dzoka Shepherd vanhu vari kukwira bhazi iroro vanoenda kumushaka. Ukada kuvatasa vanhu veZANU-PF hapana kana akambobatwa neCovid kana kuti ari kusafa neCovid. Most of them vari kushanda vane mari dzavo. They are abusing the system. They are looting mari yeCovid yakapuwa Zimbabwe neWorld Health Organization. And nobanoona kuti ndopfungwa officially opening of a bin, a skip bin. Tutara bin rekusamarara. Skip bin kana ragadzikwa apa ndikapwanya zvinhu zvanopwanya vandishunganidza imomo kuchaya motikari ichazorisumudza yoenda yoendesa kunonzi kurecycling. So I'm wondering, the skip bin rakaitwa officially opened naChinamasa kuti marara acho akazotakurwa akaenda kupi, motikari yacho yaitakura yacho ndehani? I'm still wondering. I need to know. But ndakazoona raita overfuel. Pane mwakanotora picture, the bin was overfueled. Papa nema green bomb ipapo zvirwere makonye everything. Minister akauya kuzoita official opening haachati kana follow up ratakurwa here bin racho. So this is where we are. We are stuck with the people who do not know what they do. People have got no clue how to run a country. We are stuck with gangs, armed gangs. This is an armed gang running the country. Bullets are fired everywhere, every day. Marks of torture on innocent people. Bullet-riddled bodies scatter everywhere in our country. We are not in a war. If you ask them, they say it's sanctions. And then so, ladies and gentlemen, can we continue? Until when? Until when? We regard ourselves as failures. True failure until when? This is you and me, our time. To say enough is enough. They don't worth the position that they hold. They don't worth to be called a government. They don't worth that. If you see the severe beatings that they do when you guys try to protest, that is not from a government. It's from gangs, armed gangs, wearing state uniforms, beating people with the truncheons, hammering people with gun butts. They take horses and water. They spray on you. Ladies and gentlemen, these people must be arrested. They must be arrested. That gang masquerading as government must be all rounded up and locked up. Vari kuvaka mansions, imagine. Ase paya pandambonzwa kuti kwai anoda kuno hodha mishonga ngahodhi. Ndikatoona kuti pakutorongwa wori, because they got the money from who? And that money vari kugowana mari. Ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe National Army. We all know what Zimbabwe National Army is. Pakafomwa Zimbabwe National Army, hapana anga asipo. Chisley, how are you? How are you, Tete? Skippy Bean. Yeah, guys, honestly, guys, how have we, it's a wonder in Zimbabwe how we got there. Definitely it's a wonder how we got there. It's a wonder how we got there, ladies and gentlemen. Economically, if we compare the blacks government and the Rhodesian government economically, Ian Smith was building Tara, achivaka buildings muharare, economy function, aripa total economic sanctions. Tukuchema ne vanhu 80 chete varipa sanctions. Vakanzi amuye kuBritain kuzotenga. Gara ende munotenga kuZimbabwe, tengai kuZimbabwe nemari yamuri kuba. Then people cry sanctions. Honestly. Because if you look, guys, let me tell you. I want to tell you one thing. It was the nature of the colonial political environment that led to the emergence and later militarization of black politics. It was the nature of the political environment that was created by Ian Smith that led to militarization of black politics. Now we've got the black politics that we want. They never demilitarized it. They continued with their military action against the people of Zimbabwe. And the deliberation, the militarization of the 1970s politics, it led to the armed liberation struggle in our country. I don't hesitate, ladies and gentlemen, to say the militarization of our environment will definitely lead into another armed struggle. Zimbabwe is being plunged into another liberation struggle, an armed liberation struggle. Believe me, the people of Zimbabwe have been pushed too far. The Ian Smith regime pushed blacks too far, to the extent that they said, enough is enough. Why can't we get arms of war and fight this oppressive government? That political environment, toxic political environment, where the state uses armed gangs to go abduct people, to kill innocent Zimbabweans, that will culminate into an armed struggle, in another armed struggle. Believe me, I talk to people in Zimbabwe on a daily basis. I talk to people who are in the military on a daily basis. And this is the signal that they are raising to say, look, I foresee Harare plunged into another armed liberation struggle. Because the Zimbabweans have tried everything. ZANU-PF government has refused some reforms. They don't want to reform anymore. And they've shown it by resistance. They've been called to reform for 20 years now. And they've never reformed. And they don't show signs of any reforms. So that reforms are not going to be implemented in our country. And reforms form part of ZIDERA. Reforms form part of ZIDERA. If you read ZIDERA document, it's just talking about reforms. And why do the soldiers and police beat up protesters? I answered that question yesterday at the floor. Yesterday but one. Let me answer you again. The same question keeps cropping up. People asking why Zimbabwe police and Zimbabwe army are deployed to beat up innocent civilians. Right. I'm going to answer it now. Right. If you see the recruitment into the police force, the recruitment into the army, the recruitment into the uniformed forces, they recruited vana vema war veterans. They recruited vazukuru vema war veterans. They recruited vana vevana or vakadzi vema war veterans. So it's like government yedu is like a family business now. Yotukaenda pa army HQ pa office inovharwa pakaitika rufu kumusha. That munhu wese arimo muzukuru muningina mwana watete mwana wani. Saka it's a family affair. In the event that people are protesting, it's family members vanotorana kuziva kuti mwana wakwasekuru mwana wakwapamnini mwana wakwani voungana vounzi mabutton stick uniform yepolisi pindai murodhi endai munorova vanhu endai munopfura vanhu. They shoot you because they are protecting their next of kins vari mumaoffice. Zimbabwe government pakatanga chinhu chinonzi huori, chakatanga huori ipopo yanga iri nepotism, kupinzana basa in the family lineage. Hanzi mukoma ida how are you Tawanda? I'm okay my brother. So I've answered your question atete flow. Ukaona vachirova vanhu dai kuri kuti pane munhu ane masimba ekuvabata vese munovharira muita DNA, you find kuti vanhu vese ivavo vari related. They are related. Havasi vatorwa vanhu vaya. Hanzi Bulawayo can't take it anymore. Bulawayo has reason now. So the beating is caused these families would be, yes, their families protecting themselves. This is why you see they shoot you. This is why you see they beat you. Because their families protecting themselves. Officer in charge, panotuka recruitment obvunzwa nzi unewana wanga unosingashandi ndine 4 pinza basa. Kosekuru wako wakumusha uko. Zimondi aitora Grey Maria kuenda kwa Murehwa kumusha kwake yao yakazara vana va yoko Murehwa vazukuru vaningina chivese ruzeva rwese runenge ruri Grey Maria kuenda unopinda basa. Vanosvika inzi ava vamhanya ava vatogadzirwa mapepa akutoenda kuuniform. Imagine vanhu vakadaro unozovataurira chii? Unenge ndiwe mutorwa 1 wovataurira kuti guys withdraw from the front musarova vanhu vanouya vakakuponda. And ukada kuona ezvinezvi kwaane chinonzi military intelligence, prison intelligence, police intelligence. Enondasa vanhu vari kurecruit vari kupinzwa mupolice intelligence vacho ndo vanenge vachiita source information against you vachinoudza baba munini vari kuofisi kuti ndiyudha ari kukonzera kuti vanhu vasanorohwawo tikuti vanhu kuti handetorwa vanhu yudha ari kuramba. Saka vanodzingwa basa ndiwo unodzingwa basa. I'm giving you a very good example yezvakaitika kuprison recently. Kuprison hanzi nafuka nyika yesepadu sei ndozonzwa mangwana wena nanonoka. It's fine. A very good example yakaitika kuprison. Kuti pakauya Chihovhu akauya kuprison akabuda basa kuarmy akaretire ari captain akapuwa 1 up to a major akaretire akaya kuprison akaenda akatarisa akasvika ezvozvienda kuprison unoona kuti vanhu vekwaChihovhu vangani muprison. Otherwise half of the prison services today vana mhuri yekwaChihovhu vaningina vakoma vanani vana vevakoma dzinza rese razara kuprison. Vana vake vata corruption inotyisa. Mwana wake haende kubasa is a prison officer anoshanda kukambani yababa. Just imagine anopuwa motikari yekuCMD onoshanda kukambani yababa. Does not work for the prison but is employed in prison services kutaura watuida. Hauye kana kubasa anogona kuya paofficer in charge pacho once or twice. The rest anenge ari kumaini yababa uko yakatora. So muruda kutaura kuti government it's a family issue. Government it's no longer government yevanhu. Asi sekuristole muri sei komana wazokadira ntumire laptop mzu mura laptop sekuru regai zvitange zvasetla malaptop arimo muno. So this is why you see they beat you. They beat people. That's why they beat people, because vazukuru zvakafanana naShepherd Judah ndiri kuprison ndobva ndataura kuti ndine vazukuru inini vazukuru vekwautsi wegota vese ndoti dirai kuprison vekwanyama yaro dirai kuprison vekwamapfumo dirai kuprison kana uriwe ukataura zvakashata zvasekuru vavo ikoko ndoswera ndazviziva and basa roopera. This is what is happening in prison services. This is what happening in the army. This is what is happening in the Air Force. Kuti vazukuru vanenge vari ndo vari kugoka vari kuteerera makuwa. NdiJudha sodai so Judha wadzingwa basa. Machingauta akadzingwa basa. Akadzingwa basa nemupenjeniya akabva kuarmy. Vana Huggins vakadzingwa prison. Vana Chisora vakadzingwa prison. Vanonzi retirai maprisoners retirai. Hanzi laptop ndakaseka pandakanzwa nyaya yaHuggins Machingauta. Hanzi munhu weintelligence wokuprison weintelligence akanosvika akapinda palaptop yaMachingauta akaverenga mamessages aisenderana Machingauta naNelson Chamisa. That's hogwash. That's hogwash. That's not, you lie. Anditi maona hanzi kuona kwangu zano nevanhu vayo hanzi mukoma wangu muri sei nhasi ndakanaka mwana wamai zviri sei nematambudziko avimbai andimaona zvakaoma. So what I'm saying here, it was the militant political style white Rhodesians that led to the militarization of the opposition political parties, where they formed ZAPU, ZANU, vakanga vane mazanla, vakanga vane mazibra. It was because of the political environment. The same political environment that is being created today by ZANU-PF and ZAPU. Combined ZANU and ZAPU, they have formed an environment where there is now demand for an armed struggle. There is demand now for an armed struggle. I don't mince my words. I am saying the same environment that was created by Ian Smith, which led to the militarization of the opposition politics, where we got Zipra from ZAPU, where we got Zanla from ZANU, and they armed themselves. They came back to Rhodesia and fought Ian Smith. It was because of this intolerant type of politics, whereby if you want to talk, you are abducted. If you want to talk, you are tortured. If you want to talk, you are killed. As I'm talking right now, there is a Zimbabwean missing. Where is Itai Dzamara? A very good example. He just rose a placard to say Mugabe failed, step down. And they went hard on him, abducted him, tortured him, and killed him. Do you really understand what I'm saying? You really understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, Ian Smith, when he did what ZANU-PF is doing today, Zimbabweans militarized, or the nationalists, they militarized their political parties. They were operating on a political front. And they said, no, these people, they don't listen. We have tried everything. Let's also operate on a military front. So ZANU-PF was operating on two fronts. One on a military front, second on a political front. ZAPU was operating on two fronts. One on a military front, second on a political front. And the political front was assisted by the military front to host the white Rhodesians. This is a situation that Zimbabweans are finding themselves in today. Unfortunately, Zimbabweans, the current crop of Zimbabweans, they are contented by abductions, killings, and torture. And they are resisting to operate on a militarized political environment. They are just operating on one political environment, which is politics. You really understand what I'm saying? This is why you see ZAPU had its armed wing known as Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army. And the ZANU-PF had its own military wing known as Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army. These two armies, they fought hand in hand to fight the oppressive government of Rhodesian Front led by Ian Smith. The reason why they did that is because the environment was no longer conducive for political front only. They combined the militarization and the political front. Eventually, it forced Ian Smith to go on the drawing board. ZANU-PF is being told to reform, they are refusing. In the event Zimbabweans decide to go on a militarization or armed front, definitely ZANU-PF would come to a drawing board. They will come to their senses. If you look at these old Madaras, most of them 70, 80 years, they are still holding the whole nation at ransom because of military power. Because of military power. So what we are saying is, if they are surviving on military power, then they are trying to push Zimbabweans to form an armed wing that will fight them in a similar manner that they did to Ian Smith. Right now, if you ask government, where is Itai Dzamara, they can't account for him. He is a citizen who was paying his tax and who deserved protection from the government. Instead of the state to protect him, they abducted, tortured, and killed him. In a similar style that the Rhodesian Front were doing. So what I'm saying is, the militaristic concept of politics will amplify an armed struggle. It will ensure that freedom will come to our country. What it needs is just consensus from the people of Zimbabwe to say, yes, you guys go ahead. Zimbabweans are ready for that. I talk to different people myself. I talk to the people who are in the government today. I talk to different prison officers. I talk to different army soldiers. I talk to police officers who are in the service today. I talk to the people in the Air Force. Ndakagara panapa ndopinda muofisi mako iwe. Mangwana ndoswera ndato ndine mapepa ari padeski pako ndinawo pano. Ndapinda muofisi mako. Because I talk to the people there. Andiri muri kunzwa nyaya tiri kutaura panapa. Tiri kutaura kuti pazvakaoma during Ian Smith aratidza kuti akaoma musoro. Aramba zvekutaurirana nevana veZimbabwe. Vana veZimbabwe vakagara pasi vakati, all right, tachita maslogan. Saka maslogan should continue. Vana Mugabe, they were on the political side. Vana Muzenda were on the political side. Ku military side, maitaura vana Tongogara. Vana Ndangana, they were on the military side. Then they assisted the political side to make sure that their voice is heard. But I politics and rukuzai. Politics and rukuzai panapa. No politics. The dynamics of the politics that I'm talking here is the dynamics of the politics that Zimbabwe needs today. The legacy of the armed struggle. It was a social psychology of death, terror, fear, and intolerance. If you look at the Rhodesian Front, it was intolerant. It was intolerant. This was part of Zimbabwe's political inheritance. What they did, if you look at what happened during the 70s, who inherited what was happening during that time. ZANU-PF inheriting what the Rhodesian Front was doing during that time. And Zimbabweans now, we must inherit what ZANU-PF did in the 70s. Now, ZANU-PF inherited what Ian Smith was doing. So what should Zimbabweans do in turn? Is to inherit what ZANU and ZAPU did in the 60s, forming a military wing that fought Ian Smith. So we must inherit a military wing or a military style that led to ZAPU and ZANU forming ZIPRA and ZANLA to fight Smith. Because these people were emulating, or they've emulated what Smith was doing, and they're imitating what Smith was doing. By so doing, they are nudging, or they are forcing us to move into the military style. So this is what we need as Zimbabweans. Because history repeats itself. What we are seeing is the repeat of history. The torture, killings, and everything that is happening in Zimbabwe has been done before by Ian Smith. And is now being done by the blacksmith. Takabvisa a white smith and replaced him with a blacksmith. We removed a white government and replaced it with a black government with a similar mentality to the white government that was there during that time. So what do we need to do as Zimbabweans? And but Mkoma cost analysis. This is the cost analysis that I'm doing here. Because we are costing our lives. It is costing generations. So if we analyze the situation today, is we need more years to make sure that the situation is put straight. The continuity of ZANU-PF, with the Rhodesian style of government, continuity of ZANU-PF's Rhodesian style of government must be put to halt now. Zimbabweans have been nice and quiet all along. We thought we were going to enjoy peace or freedom. We gave ZANU-PF enough rope to look into the mirror and say we should reform. But instead they are cats. Seeing a mirror, every time they look on the mirror, they see themselves like lions. So we need to remove that mirror and give a mirror that shows them a true reflection of ZANU, a true reflection of themselves, that they are not lions. They've got a mirror. When they look in the mirror, they see a lion whilst they are cats. So as Zimbabweans, we must take that mirror away. Give them a correct mirror, which if they look at it, they see their reflections. But the reflection that they are seeing today, it's not their reflection. Varikukura musoro kuta musoro bhangu mahara. Vachifunga kuti vari kugona. Madhara achembera. At 50 ndakunyatso kunzwa kuti yeah, age is taking its toll at 50. Then I've got 25 more years to be 75, to be at Mnangagwa's age. Just imagine, my knees are now complaining at 50. How about when I turn 75? And I still threaten mwana ane 50 or mwana ane 20. Kumbana ndozokera kuhondo inini at 75. That's hogwash. That's hogwash. That's totally hogwash. You understand? Because now, why I'm saying that? It's like if you look at the Zimbabwe government today, it is trying to criminalize the opposition. If they look at MDC Alliance makanzwa chimfana chakabva kuMDC chonzi mugwadi chechita hanzi. If we look at vanhu vakaita sana Chamsa, they are rebels. This is a one party state. So it shows he is reflecting the mentality of Mnangagwa, criminalizing the opposition. Kuti ukada kuita an opposition member unobva wanzi you're a political criminal. This is what we're saying. They are emasculating the opposition or rendering it important through various manifests and other measures. Those measures are unacceptable. These are unacceptable measures in a democratic country. Kungomira Joanna Mamombe, kungomira chete atosungwa. Joanna Mamombe kusumudza ruoko rwake kunongedzera shizha atosungwa. Kukotama kunonga pepa atosungwa. What country is that? What country is that? Mugabe himself at one point, he declared himself a life president. Declared Zimbabwe one-party state. The one-party state project was in fact an agenda for decades to come. And remember, Mugabe abandoned it around 1990 when Zoom was formed. So we cannot continue on 1600 politics of one-party state. We are not Soviet Union. We are not Russians. Imagine the poverty that the Zimbabweans are reeling on. The country is stinking of hunger. Someone is talking of one-party state. Someone is criminalizing the opposition. Enough is enough. Zimbabweans must stand up and say enough is enough. Tazomira problem yatanayo takufunga kuti munhu wani tikamuchuza kuti leader ngaachita Rambo. That's not it. That's totally not it, ladies and gentlemen. We ought to come together. We ought to read the dynamics, the political dynamics which are there today. We ought to know the political dynamics of the post-colonial Zimbabwe. That these people have reverted back, or they've reverted to. The Ian Smith politics, maintenance of oppressive instruments, creating more like Ferret, which is abducting and torturing, killing people on a daily basis. Is that the Zimbabwe we want? Is that what you voted for? 2018, he got 33%. And that type of a leader, someone that Dai Mnangagwa akawina election. Kana dai ZANU-PF very stronger than MDC. Zvatiri kuona izvi tingadai tisingazvioni. People would be living in peace in our country. But he knows that Chamisa would beat him all systems out. The opposition will win outright. This is why you see he is fighting to dismantle the opposition, to try and create or found a one-party state, which Mugabe tried but later abandoned. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need another continuity from colonialism. What we are seeing is a continuity of colonialism. The policies of colonialism, they go before the masses and cry, Zimbabwe will be never a colony again, whilst they are implementing the colonialist mentality. We used to call this tiny white minority rule. And now it's tiny black minority rule. Because they are not the majority. This is why you see they use the army. And every Zimbabwean knows who are the majority. ZANU-PF has lost popularity. Has lost majority long time ago. This is why they engage in these shenanigans of election rigging. Imagine it, vanonotora munhu akaita saari Ben Manashe. They go and take nyika zvikambani zvakaita sana Nikuvu. Those shenanigans are of a political party that has lost popularity in a country. No one will vote ZANU-PF. Apazomboshayikwa wako marombe. Mushaone marombe. Mushamenje munenge mune benzi ramotwa kuti iri benzi. Amushayike mapenzi muZimbabwe anovotera ZANU harimo hashayiki. But as I am saying here, ladies and gentlemen, that there are a tiny black minority that support ZANU-PF, not Zimbabweans. Andiri murugunzo. Economy yedu bule ndo iri kutaura zvandiri kutaura izvi. Economy one party state hakuna kwayakamboshanda. One party state haina mbva yavaka nyika. Because one party state removes accountability, removes competence. ZANU-PF nosaka uchiona vanhu inoapoinda vana Chiwenga vaunoziva kuti haana chaanoona. It's blind. Andiri muri kuona. Saka at the economic front, we don't need one party state in our country. Andiri muri kunzwa. Problem yakushata munyika medu taane kamwe kakusarurana kagara karipo kakaponda ZANU neZAPU kechindevele nechishona, which we should move away from in the 21st century. Definitely no investor will come in Zimbabwe. And China, it's not working in China. This is why you see China ukaba unopuwa death sentence ku China. It's not working. One party state is not working in China. China is a multi-party system. China, it's not one party state. China, kuchina ukaba unourawa kuchina kuba sweet mstoro nda kunopfurwa. Is that what you guys want in our country? And China is one party state. It's not a one party state. China kuna opposition, kuna opposition parties ariko. There are opposition parties in China. Kuchina ukaba sweet unourawa China. Ukabatwa over speeding muroad murona upfurwa kuchina. If it is a one party state ideology where you say munakaba asutongo kenda kujeri anda unourawa China, they are killing people every day. Ndakaona muZimbabwe ZANU-PF youth flashing drugs. You can't do that in China. It's death sentence. But when amphetamine, here you go. And imurgona. Saka turi kutaura kuti China kamuri kutaura it's not a one party state. China, not a one party state at all. It's not a one party state. China, I think you are not well informed about China, Bule. It's not a one party state. China, there are opposing political parties in China today. But ata asimze msoro. Kada kusimza msoro firing squad. Let me look for one political party in China. Then I'll tell you the name Nokuzana president wayo right now. I think ndakambozvinyora somewhere. Mirado ndikutsvagire. It's not a one party state. China. Right. political parties are kuchina aya kune inonzi Democratic Party kuchina, kune Republican Party iri kuchina, kune Unity Party kuchina, kune inonzi Kuomintang Party kuchina. So far andiri kuverenga panapa is 6 political parties are muchina. It's not a one party state, not one party state at all. Akawanda parties are muchina. List of parties in China kune inonzi Kuomintang, United Republic Party, Unity Party, Progressive Party, Democratic Party, Republican Party, China Democratic Socialist Party, Chinese Youth Party, People Constitution Party, Association of Political Friendship Party. So what I'm saying is, China is not a one political party. It's not a one party state. Zimbabweans, no problem with artists. We don't research. We just talk. There are plenty political parties in China, plenty of them. But avataure because kangusimza muromo kubara. Kusimza muromo utaura kubara. They are there. 9 parties, almost more than anopfura 9. Anopfura 9. Anopfura 9. Akawanda political parties are in China. Akawanda. And I don't understand, Bule, if you say they're faked. I don't understand what you mean by faked. A deceptive outward appearance. I don't understand what you mean by faked. These are political parties in China. These are political parties. There are many political parties in China. It's not a one-party state. I don't know where Zimbabweans are getting it. I don't really understand where they're getting it. Anyway, we are not talking about being party state. We are talking about the political environment where these old Madaras, 80 years, they're not a facade. They are political parties with a voice. They're not a facade. They're not a facade. This is why you see the economy is growing. It's not because of one party state. It's because they are held accountable by other parties. Go to China, to parliament yao, hakuna one party state. No. Pronunciation aina basa. Aina basa. Because ndakambotaura imwe pronunciation muZimbabwe wandu junda. Ukanda muZimbabwe wandu junda. But pronunciation depends on a country. Ukati gugu, mwandu gugu, kaenda ku India wati gugu, and guru. It depends on where you come from and what type of language or English you understand. And on. It all depends on. Ndakambotaura wedre kuti junta. Ndichitaura nevaridzi veEnglish. Junta zvikanzi hainzi junta shepherd. It's junta. It all depends on how you understand it. Munomu, but ndichitaura kuti Zimbabwe is under junta. Ndakasekwa zvikanzi unobva kupi kweyo? I come from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe moti junta, zvikanzi hainzi junta, inonzi junta. So let's stop wasting time about pronunciations and so forth. Ukabvunza Zimbabwe nanti junda, vaya kunokati hainzi junda, hainzi junta. Saka it all depends where you come from. And so what we have observed so far in Zimbabwe, ladies and gentlemen, we have got old, useless people who don't think about you and me, about what to eat today. They only talk about elections. Vachipedza ma-election at 2018. Vakatopinda ma-election mood at 2023. Right. Get into that mood first. Get into that election mood first. But deliver your promises. Until today. Welcome, Segurubule. Until today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, George. Until today. Andidimona. Holding of an election in Zimbabwe. Yeah, just like and correct you that there are so many Englishers. Pronoun doesn't matter. Yeah. Kuna non the pronunciation a lot. Ukawaya kunoku, like what I said last time. Ukati, I'm going to town by bus. They laugh at you. Here, they laugh at you. What is a bus? Varunguka vakanyora mabhuku vachiti bus. But what bus? They laugh at you. Why are you laughing? I'm talking about you go by bus. It's bus to them, it's not bus. Zimbabwe got back. Back, it's back. I'm coming back. I'm going back. You go to Zimbabwe, got back. Zimbabwe. You have to say back. I'm going back to school. They don't say back to school here. They say back to school. Going by bus here. Saka, it all depends. Let's not waste time on that. But let's look at zvanhu zvachembera zvisina basa. Zvisina future yeupenyu hwenyika yeZimbabwe. Kurarama kwana Mnangagwa zvino zvaachisina kana 10 years aripo panyika panapa. Saka 10 years ari kutaura izvozvi 10 years zvokuti adye chete akangogara achiwaridza zvombo. But hapasina 10 years zvokuti achavaka nyika. He has been there for 40 years and failed. He's been there for 40 years and failed. Then he's telling you want to build Zimbabwe in 10 years. You want to build Zimbabwe in 5 years. Even a rocket scientist will tell you. It doesn't need a rocket scientist anyway to tell you that this man is just buying time. ZANU-PF is just buying time. They've got nothing to offer to Zimbabweans. If you ask them, they are crying of sanctions. They're pointing at sanctions. So they are crying of sanctions. What are they going to deliver to you? You talk to them, they say, because of sanctions. So what do you expect such a whaler, such a whaler to help you with? Someone talking about sanctions, but at the same time promising to deliver. Andidimona. Change them, they are no longer Varakash. We call them Varashiki. We call them Varashiki now. Vavarashiki. And on. Very good point. Chamisa must stop being childish and accept that the army is in charge. You are now talking. If you look at Chamisa today, he's not being childish, but he's telling you. Those who are behaving like childish, ukaona wasvika 70 years pfungwa dzinenge dzakutanga kuita kudzoka dzakuita mwana mudiki. Ukaona munhu wapfuura 70 ndo vanhu vakunzi nemotamba nevazukuru kumusha. Ukazva zvitaurwa naMnangagwa dzaangano akusiri kutonga nyika, haana chachasimudza. Kana akamira papodium andai kutsamhira podium, so musana hauchadi. Musana hauchadi. Akutsamhira podium, so achitaura ngano. Ndichazonojebwa, uyo akajebwa, uyo minista wangu achajebwa, dzangano dzapaivapo tsuro nagudo. Hasina chaachapromisa nyika. You will never build anything in Zimbabwe. You will never bring any prosperity to that country. You understand what I mean? This is why you see every time that old man talks, he talks about elections. Remind him that you are running the country. There is no need of waiting for another election to deliver. You are already the president of Zimbabwe. You declared yourself the president. So you are already in charge. Deliver now and bring the results in the next election. Failure to deliver now. Dementia. Because you are in the government. You are the president. You are running the country. Nothing is stopping you to provide us with the production. Give us what you promised us. Because you are now in the government. You promised the people. You declared yourself a leader. Now, why can't you simply provide? You are in the government. Mugabe was given opportunity by the British, by the Americans, all over the world. United Nations gave him opportunity. Mugabe, can you come sell your country to the other countries? Even my investors, my businessmen who come and invest in your country. He was given every opportunity in the country, in the world. Blair, keep your Zimbabwe, I'll keep your Britain, I'll keep my Zimbabwe. Who are the British? Are stupid. The president wenyika ari kuzitengesa nyika yako. Vanhu vakapeta maoko vakataura kuti dai muri muno muUK Boris kutuka journalist kuti stupid. Boris ngada akadzingwa basa kudhara. Marching orders buda. You don't want to be a prime minister. Kwa America tuka journalist kuti stupid wonder audzingwe, you get impeached. Tina president aifamba all over the world achituka nyika. Achituka dzimwe nyika. Stupid. Stupid. Keep your country, I'll keep mine. Now you were told to keep yours. Don't come to our country's sanction. Makuchema food. Saka ndopa you are being childish because of age, or it might be dementia settling in you. Today you say this because your brains, why are they are aching? You don't think straight. Munhu anda kuvaka nyika yake anoziva ndoda kuvaka nyika. Haufamba uchituka vanhu opportunity papodium chitengesa nyika wakutuka vanhu. Zoma munoona kuti mazanu PF kata kutaura kuti mazanu PF mas stupid. Ndo panoya wedro kuti mazanu mas stupid. You are given an opportunity to sell your country to the United Nations. You are given an opportunity to sell your country to America. Mnangagwa was in America recently. Got the opportunity to sell Zimbabwe there. Tell them what you have done for the country, what you want to do for the country. So that if they want to help you, they come and help you. Akaenda akatakura zvituna zvaakauraya muswa 1 August. Vakamubvunza kwa America. What's the difference between you and Robert Mugabe? We saw you shooting people in the CBD. And we saw people running away, people being shot from the back. So what are the differences? Even the British who supported him, who even said that was not a coup and he did a coup, they are backpedaling. They are no longer supporting him. And they've renewed sanctions against him. He is stupid. You understand what I mean? Those podiums, it's an opportunity to sell your country. Go to Rwanda. Kampana ke Rwanda kaya karikuuraya vanhu mu Rwanda. But kakabuda kakaenda kunana United Nations aumbukazuka shtuka vanhu ku UN. Kanosvika kupfugama kochema ke ku Rwanda kaya. Nyika yangu ine varombo. Nyika yangu iri zvikoro. Vanogona kundibatsira ndokumbira rubatsiro ndivakire vana zvikoro. Mune vana vari kurasa hembe, tikudawo hembe. If you go there kakavaka 3,000 or 24,000 classrooms right now. Kachenda kachinokumbira kuda kuvaka zvikoro kachipuwa mari dzekuvaka zvikoro. Selling his country outside. Kune vanhu in this country muna mwana wasingamboziva kuti Zimbabwe iri kupi. In this country, if you tell them I come from Zimbabwe, they get surprised. Ukona president ari kuvaka very good Owen. Ukona nyika inovaka mamochari. Unozwa president akamira pano dementia. Anomira pamberi penyaya kuti mochari inozotonorera yoyo. Achatanga kupinda imo mondomupa prize. Then mobva matoziva kuti you are on the wrong footing. You are on the wrong footing. wrong footing at all. Wrong footing. Kwaona president achitaura ndavaka mochari riri kutonhorera. Ndakatanga kuzviona kuprison. Zvemochari zviri kutaura. I first saw it prison services. Prison yakavaka mochari inopinda 200 bodies. That was the only new building that they built. Yakavakwa naZimond. Chitarisa hospital yaari kuita hospital yema prison officers. He is renovating. His building. No. He never built a hospital. He renovated a commissioner's mess into a hospital. But he managed to build a new mortuary for 200 bodies. Nobody so gone out Adzimo, zvachose. We are under people vari kurwara nedementia. Varwere vepfungwa, vanhu vaiva hapana zvichabuda paya. If you see, they talk of elections, and those elections are widely it's always fraud. They talk of elections, because they know they just go there for fraud. It's not an election. They don't talk of what they've done for the country. They promised 1.5 million houses in 5 years. Up to now, and they are now talking of 2023 and 2030. Muchite. Zakutotacha, takutobayemo, tukupayana daze pamuti, pamungambokotsira. Zimboita nani brain. Ndimi muri kutonga. Chamisa akataura kuti, guys, I'm reminding Mnangagwa, you are not in opposition. You are in government, you are the president. President. Why can't you deliver now? When we go to 2023, tell Zimbabweans, I've done this for you, I've done that for you, I've done that for you. Akatuma Tagwirei kuenda kunotenga mabhazi. Tagwirei akutenga mabhazi ake. Ari kuya isa kuzupu orendesa zupu chimbadara. Andiri muri kuona. Akutenga bhazi $9. Tenga bhazi $9 kunze kwenyika. Rosvika muZimbabwe zupu yobva yanzi 50,000 bhazi. Looting the country. Saka 2030 munenge muchiitei. Rwanda yakavaka 22,000 classrooms. Pa COVID ipapa. Pa gorero riri. Kamfana keku Rwanda kakapinda mu Rwanda kari kuponda ne opposite kasikanda mujere. Kakabuda mu Rwanda kuenda panza apa kari kuchema kamunhu kakanopfugama so kupfugama kuchema. Nyika yangu ine vanhu varombo. Nyika yangu ine vanhu vari kufa nenzara. Ndakandichikumbirawo ndibatsirewo vakomana. Mari dzodirwa. Kakaenda ambassador weArsenal. Kari kurova mari naArsenal. Mari dzodirwa. Vanhu vari kuya kuRwanda vachiona. If you go to Rwanda today, it's like a first world country now. They were given opportunity. Come sell Zimbabwe. If they go there, vanenge vane zvituna zvavakatakura. And avanyari vanopfura vanhu masikati machena kuridza pfuti masoja. A soldier. Town. Wondo nevanhu vasina kana pfuti. Opedzapo woenda kunze kwenyika unzitengesa Zimbabwe. Tikutuma munhu ane dementia. Munhu akusvika achitaura nyambo ari papodium. Zvanotaura utonzi utaroda kuti chii. 10 plus 4 40. Election. Hatozine election date. Andiri muri kuona. Saka ndo zvatiri kutaura, ladies and gentlemen. Kuti with what we have seen so far, with what I have said so far, I've tried to make you see that ZANU-PF is not there for you and me. ZANU-PF is not there for you and me. These people, they are just there to fatten their pockets. They are not doing any development for the country now. Ndakaona vakaisa red carpet pakawanika pombi. Ukaona road dziri kugadzirwa muZimbabwe. Guys, one day ndichatomboenda pane vanhu vaya vanoshanda muroad muUK vanogadzira tara. nomboita kana 30 minutes live muchikuratidzai zvinenge zvichiitwa ipapo. Mozocompare with the way they are doing their roads in Zimbabwe. They are wasting our time. Masquerading as a government without clue. They can't even gadzira road. Kutora gravel kunamanama kwakudira tara pamusoro. Tikatara kudira mvura antagadzira tara. 2 days ma potholes. 1 day yakukurwa nemvura. You're doing nothing. My rural roads, my rural areas, by now they should be tarred 40 years down the line. Tara yedu inocherwa pa, tara yedu tinoiwana pa wanga. Marasha tunawana pa wangi. Matombo yogadzira tara akazara makomo muZimbabwe, makomo ese mazitombo aya akamirira kudhurwa nekugadzira kwari yekudira muroad. But nothing is being done in ZANU-PF. They're doing nothing. Andiri muona nyaya tikutaura. Saka ukavabvunza vanokutaurira kuti ma-sanctions. Kuenda unochera kwari yemuZimbabwe sanction hanzi china masa ivhu redu harisi kuproducer because rakarohwa nema-sanctions. Andiri muri kuona. Ndochokwadi mukoma innocent bwaya. ZANU-PF, osamuno mutina vanhu vezanu vari muno mu-UK. I always ask them, what are you doing, guys? Imimi ndimi munosapota ZANU. ZANU-PF is the rule, ndo iri kutonga Zimbabwe now. Why can't you tell them the correct way yogadzira nayo road? Why can't you tell them the correct way yogadzira nayo kana airport chaiyo? Why can't you tell them kuti muno mu-UK kutsika ivhu kuda? Tuese tuma road tupinda nomusango muchienda unoweta kusangoko. Tuese tune tara ufambe nemuvhu. Why can't you tell them that? You have seen development. Makana ma traffic lights ari muno. KuZimbabwe first led under official opening of a traffic light in Chivu. Just imagine mukadzi wa Boris daita official opening ma traffic lights in the UK. Stockton chete inoi aita 100 years. Every day achita official opening yema lights. And what happened to Mr. Moyenu Bulawa? And so say welcome. And so what mtwakazi mfeso ya wamita say. And yona. Ezo shikana kanzwa kuti moyo womtwakazi yauraiwa. Apana zvinomboitika monyararwa muZimbabwe kuti zei. Itaidzamara akaenda tikanyarara kuti zei ngeti sipo. Andiri mona. Saka ndonyaya tikutaura panapa kuti kana saka takuda president ari competent in our country. President akarasati Wilson Chamisa. If you listen to the state of address that Chamisa gave, I last saw that type of state address being given by Obama. Chamisa has become the Obama of Africa. People would say today, pakatika United States of Africa, its president will be Chamisa. He gave a state of address that no one has ever given in our country. Despite holding 11 degrees, 20 degrees, Mugabe has never given such a state of address. Taingonzwa, blah, I want to roll my military machine. Sichobet, Zimbabwe is now never colon in a foreign land. But Munatwara and the president, I don't know what journalists are. Stop it! This is what happens when dementia kicks in. As mkoma kuya pano tichitaura so ma1 kuinbox tiri kutukwa tobuda here nembwa dzezano. Ukana chikutuka kuinbox just a block. Nyamandi. Just a block. It's your Facebook page. Don't be abused. I tolerate them because I need them to see. I need to teach them. What I'm saying here, even in 100 years, that guy was telling us the truth. ZANU-PF in 100 years will never put Taram Zimbabwe. You understand? So what we are saying is, Zimbabweans, the people of Zimbabwe, We must have a deep attachment to what we call democratic institutions. Don't attach yourself to institution in ZANU-PF. That institution in ZANU-PF here is institution that respect the will of Zimbabweans. We need a government by popular rule, by popular vote, where every Zimbabwean take action or take initiative to say, we want to vote. We don't want a government that undermines the people. We don't want a government that threatens to destroy your life. As we are talking today, ZANU-PF government is busy destroying people's lives. They created what we call land barons. They used the Harare City Council with clerks and so forth. They grabbed land in Harare. They sold that land corruptly. They still go on to blame councillors. All land barons belongs to ZANU-PF. Sold our land illegally. When those houses are being razed to the ground, they are not there for the people of Zimbabwe. We don't need such type of a government. We don't need that type of government. If you look at ZANU-PF today, it's an institution that shut down media that is critical to the government. If you see how Daily News started, it was a neutral part. It was never a government mouthpiece. When it was bought by Gono and later Tagwire, it becomes more than a herald, being a government mouthpiece. They just bought it to make it a government mouthpiece. That is what we call shutting down of media critical to the government. We don't want such a government. We don't want a government that dismisses judges. Tinamai vakanzi wakapirei anonzani Job Scala bail. Judge gave Job Scala bail, and that judge is under fire and is threatened with the dismissal because he ruled against government will. He ruled against government. The government wanted Job Scala to rot in remand prison. And the judge used the constitution and law, granted Scala a bail, and she's being threatened with the dismissal. We don't want such a government. We've got a government that is banning political activists, political activism. Political parties are being banned in Zimbabwe. Zoom was banned, it was destroyed. MDC Alliance, we don't want such type of a government. That attitude of undemocratic behavior, threatening democracy of this world. ZANU-PF automatically becomes a terrorist part. A part that shut down media critical to the government. A part that dismissed judges for ruling against it. A part that bans political parties. A part that suspends parliament and cancel elections. We want to cancel elections. We want to do this. That is not a democratic institution, ZANU-PF. We need vanhu vakaita saNelson Chamisa who are committed to democratic institutions. Ukaona Chamisa achitaura kuti vanoda kuenda endai zvenyu, that's democracy. Unozoda chimwe chii? KuZANU-PF hakubudwe. Kubuda kuti waunojoina imwe party waurawa. Vakateerwa hanzi ana Joboya akanzi unofa. Andi muri kunzwa nyaya yekutaura. Mnanga gwanenga. Hanzi nemumwe munhu mnanga gwamata hana barazia. Angadi dementia kukura. Ndona mwana wachanzi varoi chembere sinzi varoi dzichirohwa muZimbabwe. Dementia iya. Takutozviziva nekuverenga mabhuku nekuenda kuzvikoro. Andiri mona. So we need munhu ari committed to democratic institutions, are committed to the democracy of a country, someone who enjoys the majority support of people. If you want to see that Chamisa is more popular than Emerson Mnangagwa, take Chamisa and Mnangagwa, put them ZTV to debate about Zimbabwe. Take Chamisa today and Emerson Mnangagwa, give them platform pa ZTV vakagara mwapa vachidebata kuti akataura usingotaura akasimgotaura usingotaura muzoona pane munhu anovhotera Mnangagwa here. You understand what I mean? So what I mean panapa is we need democracy in our country. This politics of predatory politics or a predatory government that we have today, this government is a terrorist government, a predatory government. We don't need predators in a democratic arena. We must all be shot with the desire to establish democratic institutions that will not copy what Ian Smith was doing. You understand? Atete nati, sorry, nati, thanks nati, ukaona takutaura dai, change is near. I've never been vocal like this, but I'm seeing change coming. Zimbabwe will never be a one-party state. Zimbabwe will remain a multi-party state. If you look at Zimbabweans are certainly in love of their country. We do love our country. The one-party system Mnangagwa failed long time ago, and it will never be successful. It's either Mnangagwa unotofane BP, titoisa mama party food. So you understand? Zimbabwe will never be a one-party state. Zimbabwe, kana kunzi mwari wari kuiparadza nhasi, ichaparara a multi-party state country. Because the people in Zimbabwe, they love this multi-party system. So, vari kuchema vai vachiti one-party state, those are wet dreams. Kana chembere kurota ichiyamwa, Mnangagwa kurota achiyamwa, andiri kuona. At his age, we don't expect munane 75, 80 years kuti aite ma wet dreams. Those are wet dreams. One party state in Zimbabwe is a wet dream. Kurota uchiyamwa. Mai akafa kare. Mai kana bonzo rawo pasa hapasina. Kurota uchiyamwa munhu akaparara kare. Yeah. Hanzi pachishona wandaura kuti ngoma ikaririsa yapedyo nekubvaruka. Yobvaruka zano. Iya vari kutamba one party state kubvarukawo. Andii muri kuona nyaya yatiri whoever is making decisions kupweredzi yadziya. Pweredzi dzedze vafana vane ma20 years vari kutora ma-decisions nevanhu vane dementia. Vachirota madhara yakurota achiyamwa aya. Those are wet dreams. One party state is a wet dream. Andii muona. Those non-democratic behavior being shown by ZANU-PF today, and avatonyari kuzvinyora kana ma-newspaper. You wonder what type of people are there. Andii muona. Saka, ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe will never be a one-party state country. No matter if they want to spread that undemocratic message, the country will never be a one-party state. It will never. Zambia tried that, one Zambia, one nation, one UNIP. It never worked. That will never work in Southern Africa. Mobati sisa ipapo. If they want a one-party state, they are forcing Zimbabweans to militarize their political environment. Then Zimbabweans will operate on two fronts, on military front and on political front. If ZANU-PF wants peace in our country, They should not preach one-party state, because that will make Zimbabwe militarize their political environment. And vanenge vakuzoona ZANU kuti ZANU-PF does not have monopoly of killing Zimbabweans. They don't enjoy that monopoly. Anyone can kill anyone. Ndopavanozoona kuti maZimbabweans vayo they've got potential yekupanduka, and vanopanduka vakasimuka. Kana vachinge vapanduka vasimuka, havo vadzore vana veZimbabwe. What they did to Ian Smith is what people will do to them. Andini maona. So, vafana vana mugwadi vayo ndakataura kuti vafana ava vanoverenga Bible too much ava, they must understand the word democracy. If you don't understand the word democracy, you go singing ideologies ekuma 1640, 1600. Kusati kwaane kana ndege. 1600 zvikepe zvai mwazvuka mvura vanhu vachipera vachizama kuya kuAfrica. Wanzwa? Hatidzokere ikoko, takatopfuura. Takatopfuura. Ndaiseka namadhamu suno ndikati oza zvakuitika mazuva ano. Vanhu havachatengi ma-TV, wana ma-TV atakutenga. Wautenga ka-TV kanenge pepa unonamira kumadziro. So kuva takabva kuma-TV enhumbu. TV yapo mazuva kapepa. Unongonamira kumadziro so wototora remote ogara pa wakutodai. Wakutofanga TV, wakutoona TV pepa kumadziro. It means life is changing. Technology is improving. The ideology of one-party state is 1600 ideology, which will never work in the 21st century. Moto TV unopeta kuda pepa osa muhomwe, wasvika kwari kuenda wowaridza pamadziro so wakutoona TV. Quality TV. Kota kuenda. Saka terrorists, ma-terrorists ezano aya, please, away from our country. Hamusi ndima akatanga nazvo. Takaona vana mudhara Kamuzu Banda. Kamuzu was an autocratic ruler. Kamuzu Banda, Malawi zvairi nhasi, it's Kamuzu Banda. Although some Malawians tried, some Zimbabweans tried. Malawians tried. Kuda kuzvita kuti vabvise this oppressive Kamuzu Banda. Kamuzu aikanda vanhu mumakarwe. Vana mabodo vakatiza kukanda mumakarwe naBanda. Andi muri kuona. Kamuzu aikanda vanhu mumakarwe. Vanhu vachikandwa mumakarwe naKamuzu Banda. Asi bo, we want nyika in a majority rule. So what Chamisa is saying, we must have a country. If you listen to his state of address, Chamisa's state of address, the message that I got from that address is that he wants a Zimbabwe that is governed by a political institution, or a Zimbabwe governed by the majority rule. We want the majority rule. ZANU-PF is not for the majority rule, it's for minority rule. All what they are doing now is trying to destroy what the majority wants. Unfortunately, you cannot destroy people's hearts. With the degree of poverty that we have witnessed in our country today, it means tikaenda kuelection nhasi, munhu anonga akapfeka t-shirt yeZANU achinovhotera MDC. Munhu anenge achienda parare ZANU. Ndaiseka zvangu paTimovius paiti pamberi neZANU. Ndikati dai uri musi wekuti munoona kuti panovhotera Timovius, we will never vote ZANU-PF, believe me. Slowly people are being hardened. One day is one day, definitely. Ndakazoona pane video yandakaposta bere rarumwa nzeve nedhongi. Ndo one day is one day. Bere rayo jaira kusvika richibata zvombo zvedhongi richidzura richidya richinda. Vadhongi akazotendeuka musa akati mupanzeve. Bere wakachema. Bere unochema kunge munhu ka. Ndakazwa bere rati yowe maiwe. Nzeve ichirumwa. Dhongi achisimudzira nzeve ichirumwa. Bere akachema kati yowe maiwe. Yo bere. Saka maperezana mwaka wenyu weyowe maiwe uripo, uri kuuya. Your time is coming. Mark my words, keep this video. Your time is coming. Zimbabweans are demanding complete freedom now. And we need freedom to criticize the government. We need freedom to say to the government, be accountable. You promised before 2018 elections that you are going to do this, that. ZANU-PF ndo yakauya nemazimotikari atakaona muHarare. MDC anambowana motikari yakadaro. ZANU-PF yakatenga 10,000 mavivo maningirina ayaya anonzi Mercedes Benz mavito ayaya. 10,000 of them. One in around 180,000 pounds. They bought 10,000 or a mil or a menu. Vakatenga matota mafoba. Campaign material takona ne ZANU 2018. Vanhu vakati nyika yanaka manje. Akomana. So we need you to be accountable for whatever you said. Your time is coming. Bere wakachema zvonachitaura. Arumwa nzeve nadhongi. Ndakaona nguruwe abatwa nzeve nadhongi. Apiri nguruwe. Nguruwe akabatwa nzeve akachema kati apiri. Ende dhongi hasi. Saka dhongi uyo muri kukwira muchiti dhongi muchirova uyo. ZANU be warned. Yeye makaona bere achitambwa yaye. Munoita bere manje. Andini mona. We have held regular elections since 1980. And they were just fraud. I'm sorry, I can't add Bule. Because if I try to add someone here, volume goes. I don't know what is. Zimbabweans have held regular elections. Time and again, all those elections are disputed. Fraud. Every election is fraud. Saka kuchema kwenyu kuri padhuze. Anditi mona. Kuchema kwenyu kuri padhuze. Ukada kutarisa politics in Zimbabwe, always two political parties compete. And but two political parties dzinokompita, ZANU-PF inotora zvizukuru. Kuti anzwe participate vana shonzani chimpana che cocaine chaje Jones Brian Mteki chaje presidential candidate Linda Masarira. Yeah, joke. ZANU-PF a joke. You told us before election jobs for everyone, but akazona ma create a job rachamisa chete. Not even one job ramaka create. Ma create rachamisa chete kuti come and be leader in parliament. Chamisa kuti fuck off. Why for Chamisa only? Why not 90% Zimbabweans who are reeling in poverty, who are stinking in poverty? The country is stinking with poverty. And you are creating Basaremun one. Bozaga defeat Mnangagwa. Well done, Chamisa. You showed Mnangagwa kuti inumira nevan. If I look at like the education sector, ED recently went to Zambia, built a school in Zambia. President of Zimbabwe built a school in Zambia. Ukada development in Zambia, you can go and add to their development, creating jobs for teachers in Zambia. Zambia is kombia Zambia and Zimbabwe. Unomira wo. Zambia amuka. Very soon it will be a super power Sadak Zambia economically. But President wenyu tine zvikoro kubinga uko. Hakuna zvikoro. Vana vari kufamba thousands of miles kuenda kuchikoro. Ari kuenda kuZambia kunovaka chikoro kuZambia. Anditi maona nyaya yati kutaura. Saka nyaya yati kutaura panapa, we need equality in education. We have got MDC Alliance, competent political party. And we want tikataura about basic necessities. Tikataura income gap ripo mu Zimbabwe. In fact, income gap hapasina. Because hakusina salary yacho, hakusina mabasa. The country was all turned into Maruzeva. So this is the Zimbabwe that we want. Everything that I've said right now, these people, they blame sanctions. Thank you, Mgomaman. everything that I've said here, they're blaming sanctions. ZIDERA. Ukanzo wachitaura mazanu PF, hanzi ZIDERA is sanction. ZIDERA is not a sanction. Inini ndomira ndokurambira kuti ZIDERA is not a sanction. ZIDERA is never a sanction. They call it Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act. How can a recovery act be a sanction? Those are not Zimbabweans nas. It's a Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act. How can a recovery act be being a sanction? Takanzwa Zobwa achitaura achiti tirikukumbira economic sanctions against Ian Smith regime. Hapana muZimbabwe nakambokumbira sanctions against ZANU-PF regime. Takanzwa Zobwo mudadirwa Zobwo achitaura achiti tirikukumbira ma sanctions against Ian Smith, economic sanctions against Ian, full sanctions. And akabva hanzi autenge pfuti, autenge chikafu. Ian Smith autenge fuel. Ian Smith was on total sanctions. Yakabva yakatwa Rhodesia from the outside world. But Smith survived with what he had to build Zimbabwe. And he built it. Prazi kwake Smith kaine tara inodadisa ukaenda izvozvo raDust Road. Saka I'm wondering if Zimbabweans say a Democracy and Economic Recovery Act is a sanction. I wonder, because ndoda kutira kunzwisa kuti chinonzi sanction chacho chii. Chinonzi sanction chacho chii. Because this act yakaiswaka is just cited as a Democracy and Recovery Act. It's like an act which has been put with the conditions. Kuti itererai vakomana. Takupai act. Taisa mutemo. Mutemo wakaiswa mutemo. Ukunzi mutemo uyu uteedzerei. Ndo pane democracy ipapa zvatiri kutarisira kuti muite. Then your economy will recover. Apa. Itai izvi. Itai ma reforms. Musauraya vanhu. Musaita sei. Iwewe unouraya vanhu hatitoda kuona kuno. Vamwe ngavauye. This is why you see Zimbabweans. If you go to America, you see Zimbabweans there. Who are there? You see Zimbabwe embassy in America. Dai tatiri pa my economic sanctions. Kana embassy yedu yaidzingwa. Uza hatikudei muno. Hatikudei muno. Saka ukaenda ku America unoona Zimbabwe embassy. Ukauya muno mu UK unoona Zimbabwe embassy. MaZimbabweans arimo. Ambassador weZimbabwe anouya anopinda mu UK nekubuda paanodira. Haasi pa ma sanctions. Ambassador weZimbabwe ku America haasi pa ma sanctions. Saka vana vasatani kana vakutaura kuti ngvarutaura zvinoshamisira. Pane 83 vanhu vakanzi imimi hatikudei ku UK. Muri kutenga zvombo muchiuraya vanhu. Muri kuabhuda kuti anaita madzara mara muchiwana kudisappear muZimbabwe. So don't come to America, don't come to UK. Andini maona. So you were given. They put an act. In America, they put an act. Mutemo. Zimbabwe, you can still put your act against America. Ashirambidzwe. Because daima muri pa ma sanctions ku Zimbabwe. Kana America embassy ngadai makaivhara kudhara. We still have American embassy in our country. We have an American embassy in our country. Dai tiri pa ma sanctions. Andifunga kuti American embassy ngadai iri muZimbabwe. Andifunga kuti ngadai munangagwa akabuda achitaura kuti he ndapuwa mari chaiyo na America. Iye ari pa ma sanctions. So why can't you follow what the act wants? MuZimbabwe mune ma acts arimo ukaba unosungwa. Arimo ma acts. Ukaba unosungwa. And ukaba muZimbabwe uri kusungwa sure. Because inonzi Codification Act. Zvakaiswa pasi mutemo yemuZimbabwe is codified. Andiri ukaba unosungwa is codified. Storimo mucodification. You have got an act which was put by America. This is the democracy that we expect for your economy to recover. Then we have put it as a law. Document rachore ZIDERA, Zimbabwe government inaro. Vanodi kuri serialize on daily basis vachiudza vanhu kuti mutemo uyu unonzi ZIDERA uritikanya pakati nepakati. You just generalize hataruwa sanction. Amusi pama sanctions, don't lie to the people. This is just an act which was put there to make sure that you do democracy for your economy to recover. They call it Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act. It's just an act, not a sanction. And that is the policy that the United States put to support the people of Zimbabwe in their struggle to effect peaceful, democratic change, achieve broad-based and equitable economic growth. That act is aimed to support the people of Zimbabwe in their struggle to effect peaceful, democratic, and achieve broad-based and equitable economic growth and restore the rule of law. That act only looks at the rule of law. If you government iri kuudzwa nemutemo kuti imime amugone rule of law, isai rule of law. Mukasa rule of law zvapera, your economy will recover. They don't want. They don't want to put rule of law. Saka muchona vachiti kana vanhu vakada kudemonstrata kunouya masoja nepfuti muchipfurwa. That is not rule of law. Kunouya maziyouth eZANU-PF vakapfeka uniform yepolice vachibhucha nekubata vanhu. That is not rule of law. So America gave a statement of this policy, gave a statement of this act to say, you guys restore rule of law. Restore rule of law. We want economic growth in your country. They want to see it. They want to see democratic change. Peaceful. And you don't want to be peaceful. You want to abduct, torture, and kill people. This is why you cry sanctions. So if you don't want to reform, then international financial institutions are not obliged to help you. They can't give you money. Muchitora mari yacho muisa Swiss bank. Mutora mari yacho mukusponsor violence in a country. Mutora mari yacho to break the law. So international financial institutions, they don't support that. Then wakati atisukupai mari makutochema tra sanctions. Muruda mari chete mimi mekuponda vanhu. Nekutenga motikari dzekudzipa vanaitaidza mari. Mukanzi atichakupai mari yacho mochema makuti sanction. Ari kutenga motikari dzacho abvanzi atisuda kuona kuAmerica ra sanction iroro. It means you are cook somewhere. Mazanu, you are cook. Munotopenga. Saka these people, they did their findings. No kana chitaurira vanhu ndikati unoona ZANU-PF ka ukadaona kuti ZANU-PF iri cook. They think kuti masanction kana act yakaiswa naChamisa kana na Biti kana na Tsvangirai havana masimba. Biti, Tsvangirai, Chamisa havana masimba ekuisa act kuAmerica. They've got no powers to put an act in America. They don't sit in American parliament. Havana simba rekuisa this act. This bill was read in parliament. It was agreed upon by those people. Don't think BT has got powers to go and influence Americans. Don't think BT or Chamisa or Tsvangirai would go to America unotaura kuti isai an act. Who is he? America is 52 nations. BT unotaura kuti isai an act achiudza 52 nations. Kurota kwezanu. Vanachitara chemberedzo rota dzichiyamwa idzi. Andini mona. So what do they do? Ma Americans kuti vazosvika pakusa this act against is their foreign policy. And they've got their intelligence operating in Zimbabwe. Vana information pai pamunonzi itaidza mari ashaika pai vanenge vachitoziva kuti ashaika. Pamunopfura vanhu vanenge varipo vachikuonai muchipfura vanhu. Muchipa mastatements amobudisa paZTV echibharanza ayaya. Ndakati kuzvikanga nemafuta enyu. So those people know. It's not about it, it's not about Chamsa, about Changira, about MDC. Ivo vega, they know. Bosi kada kutanga kuona Zimbabwe yakatanga kunyimwa mari rini 1999. Chinyimwa mari. Kwakusati kwane MDC yakanga ichafomewa, ichangouya. Zimbabwe yanga kutonyimwa mari kudhara. Nenyaya yekuti intelligence operatives in our country, those from America and other countries who operate in Zimbabwe, ndo vanopa madecisions vandoenda muofisi mamunangagwa mamugabe vanenge vatorima varume vaya. Otherwise vamunenge muchiti aid wamunangagwa ndiyarumwanya nemapepa anenge achitotora mapepa achitengesa kuAmerica. Ndakaona vana chiyangwa vachirohwa kunge nyoka dzapinda mumba ini. Handiti maona. Ukada kutarisa, if even look at hondo yeku-DRC yai, hondo yeCongo yai, that decision was made by ZANU-PF. Nemadhara akaora pfungwa yakunopindira hondo yeCongo. And America yakabvunza kuti imimi hamuna mari, you don't have money, munokwereta mari kwaIMF. Saka munotora mari imimi instead of feeding maZimbabweans vari kufa nenzara. Makutenga nyere, makutenga pfuti, makuenda ku-DRC kunorwa hondo yeCongo. Makuenda kuCongo notenga pfuti kunorwa hondo yeCongo. Imi muchichema kuti muda mari yekuti muvake zvikoro. Tokupai mari yekuvaka zvikoro maonotenga pfuti, makuenda ku-DRC kuhondo. So economic mismanagement, undemocratic practices by ZANU-PF government, and the costly deployment of troops to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the government of Zimbabwe has rendered itself ineligible to participate in International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. You rendered yourself mega. You deployed those soldiers. You deployed them on your own. So you rendered yourself unfit for financial support. Saka chiregai kuchema. Chiregai kuchema. Chiregai kuchema. But the sanction. And then more. Saka you don't qualify for monetary fund programs. Because munotoenda kuhondo, munayo mari yacho munoidi. Instead of using the money IMF to modernize Zimbabwe's economy, you choose kuenda kunorwa hondo yeku-DRC. Kutakura vana veZimbabwe kunopera kumabanana kuCongo. Then muri kuchema sanction. The people of Zimbabwe have thus been denied economic and democratic benefits envisioned by the donors. Mari dzamuri donors to such programs. The money is being donated by donors to such programs. It means you take that money, you go and fight a war. So you don't need any support, you guys. So America, you guys have mtemo with my donors acho ari kuAmerica. Vari kupai mari yacho. Saka vari kutaura kuti kwete, hatichakupai mari makuchema sanction. Vari kuno blessing, vari kuno kune mazana ari kuno. Who went to home office kunotaura kuti takatiza ZANU kuZimbabwe. Those decisions dzinopiwa nana home office dzinonotinda kana kuverengwa kumaparliamentu kuti nevanhu veZANU vatiza kuurawa neZANU. We have got vanakasukuwera vakatiza kuurawa neZANU. Munangagwa vakatiza kuurawa neZANU. Handiri kunzwa. Saka zvotoreva kuti hamuna democratic tendency. Even in their part they kill people. This is why you see even Mnangagwa fled. Vanakasukuwera vakatiza vari Jonathan mwe vari mwena kutaura kwandiri kuita. Kutiza kuurawa neZANU. Pakatiza vana Jonathan mwe pfuti dzakaridzwa ida kuurayiwa. Dzimba dzikapfurwa vachitiza. Zvese izvo you blame America, you blame sanctions. Kumaisa Jonathan mwe nepfuti, you are blaming America. Kumaisa Kasukuwere nepfuti, you are blaming America. Mnangagwa akatiza Grace ataura kuti hokoyo. You blame America. Where are the sanctions ipapo? Kuti mukuridzirana pfuti mukuurayana kuZANU. Then it's America. You are cook. Somewhere mazanu. You are cook. Andrugona. Sakarukona in September 1999, the IMF suspended its support under a standby arrangement. approved the previous month for economic adjustment and reform in Zimbabwe. 1999 in September, IMF yakati wo makasa. No money. No money. Muna October 1999, the International Development Association yakati wo makasa. ZIDERA. No money. Muna 2000, ZIDERA suspended all other new lending to the government of Zimbabwe. Wakati no money. Sakarukona IMF 1999 yakati makasa wo. And International Development Association ikati wo. Madonors, mamwacho madonors wakati wo. Tokupai mari makwenda kuhondo. Kupai mari fidai vanhu makutora mari makwenda kuhondo. Saka vakati wo makasa. Wo makasa. Muna 2000 ZIDERA yakabva yasuspenda zvimwe zvasarira mari dzadzichiuya vakati wo makasa. Because pakapanzi chivapai support for democratic transition and economic recovery. Ndopakazoya ZIDERA. Saka today I'm not going to talk much about ZIDERA. I've just given you a highlight of the day that I want to talk about ZIDERA. We want to see ZANU-PF. They don't talk about ZIDERA. They don't talk it in detail to tell people pakati nepakati apa ndopati kuchemwa napo kuti masanctions ari pakati. Because it's a democratic recovery, economic recovery act. That if they implement what they were told to do, then our economy will improve. But they don't want that. Because they know if they do those reforms, definitely, Saka, I'm going to talk about this ZIDERA one day. Honestly, Keith, you are right, my brother. Because they lack tolerance. Their political is toxic. And this is what brought ZANU-PF to where they are today. And I'm going to talk about ZIDERA. If I get a chance, probably tomorrow, I will talk about ZIDERA. I want to talk about bilateral and debt relief. I will talk more on the multilateral debt relief. What are they? And I want Zimbabweans to really understand this ZIDERA thing. That is ZANU-PF cry on daily basis. Vachiti sanctions. But they cry this to the people who have got no access to internet. People who have got no access to these documents. One of those ones, sanctions. Yeah, sanctions. So I'm going to talk more about this. Because if you look, mostly what Americans were referring to, mostly it was about our presidential elections in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has held the presidential election, which was widely accepted as ZANU, vachiti free and fair, but were they free and fair? Vanhu vainzwa votera papa vachidimburwa maoko vanhu vachichekwa miromo misha ichipiswa. These elections were never free and fair. And the pre-election conditions, we saw them in 2008, 2013, in 2000, we saw pre-election conditions. What were they like? And the post-election conditions, what were they like? Can we say elections are free and fair under those conditions? So we are going to talk about it. Are they fulfilling the act, or they are just ignoring it? And go to unsuspecting people who have got no access to internet and anything to say, oh, my sanctions. So we are going to talk also about military and national police subordinate to civilian government. What they are supposed to do. They are subordinates to civilian government, not to a military government. Why are our police beating protesters? Why are our army shooting innocent civilians rather than being subordinate to those people who pay them on a daily basis? So we are going to look into that. What are the democratic institutions expected to be like? Because if you see a president authorizing army, because he's the commander-in-chief, to go into Harare CBD and open fire to innocent people, we have to look into that. authorizing funds, paying thugs like Ferez to go abducting people. So we are going to look into that. Why would Canadians think the same with America, think the same with Zimbabwe, with the Britain, to say no, we don't want those thugs in our country, because they are regarded as terrorists. Those people are thugs. That's why they are not allowed into America or into Britain. So they should not cry for. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Padashikapa, I've taught you, I've shown you a lot of things today. We must have an idea how to remove oppressors from power. These people are talking of 2013 elections today. Ask them what have they done to the promises that they gave us, they gave you in 2018, before pre-2018 election. What did they do? Other countries, they impeach presidents. They remove presidents from power. In South Africa, it's easy for them to remove underperforming president. The current ZANU-PF is underperforming. I've never seen such a government like what we have today. It is not facing any tense political opposition. Chamisa has given them a leeway. It's given them a rope to say, guys, oh, rope enough, hang yourself. And those idiots are fools. They've put that noose around them. And they are already hanged. If you see them talking about 2013 election, it means they are already hanged. Those idiots they've already hanged themselves. You understand? They are wasting resources. Kutenga kupawa na Lilian, kupawa na Monzora, wachiwatupa masoja, wachiwapa state machinery. Those are wasting resources. Mugabe did it for 40 years. Fighting every opposition leader who rose and neglected the economic side of our country. So we are at where we are, or in the situation we are today, because we are a neglected nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Chirega need a wind up. Need a wind up. So Chirega need a wind up, ladies and gentlemen. Zimbabwe needs you and me. Mapabata Zimbabwe uda iwe weneni to move forward. Ukada kuona kuti vanhu ava varoi terera mashoko avanotaura pakafa tsvangirai vakati good riddance of rubbish. Pakaurawa Itai Dzamara achabhudhaktwa achienda vakataura zvinorwadza. And they never apologize. They are still saying the same. They are still saying the same. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am done for today. Ndakumirira 1 or 2 questions. One or two questions before I go. Because the 30 minutes I was supposed to have ended this presentation at 2200 hours. So unfortunately I've gone overboard 30 minutes. So I can go down 1 or 2 questions before I call it a day. I love you all Zimbabweans. We need to kick out ZANU-PF. That's all I can say. We need to kick out ZANU-PF from power. That's all I can say. Ndakaseka makaona tsamba yakanyorwa na witness due. Mkaona munhu akaita sakupe tokozano yawe. Akatora witness due anamuta spokesperson akamuta driver. Driving iskiri isingade kana zvakawanda kudhara vanhu vaingo driver motikari vasina kuenda kuchikoro. Ndakaona tsamba yakanyorwa na witness due ndakafa nekuseka. Full of my errors, full of chii, haina kana musoro, hapana kana zvaitaurwa. Saka ndakafa zvangu nekuseka ndikati ndo ma spokesperson enyu kaya. ana Monzora. Ukaona munhu akaitwa driver nakupe. Saka I'm calling for Zimbabwe authorities kuti aiwa vakomana manje muri kuchema sabere. Nguruve akachema ari mwanzeve na dongi. Akachema ari mwanzeve na dongi. Kuti apere. Amadongi chaita kurovera pasi simu zavo zikushida kukwachura nzeve yacho. Bere chikai chida kubata zvombo zvadongi chikanzi nkanzeve chikachema kati mai. Ndakazobera chema yo bere anchema ngemunhu. Saka ndiri kuona kuchema kwezano hakusukure. Manje nzeve inenge yabatwa. Saka guys, stay blessed. Good night. Yours Shepherd Yuda. Ndadzidzisa. Saka next time tarisira ZIDERA. Let's discuss ZIDERA. I wish I can have one guy from ZANU-PF on the day. What to interview live panapa. Tinyazonzwisa what is there ZIDERA for? ZIDERA vari kuchema nayo papi chaipo watitaurire. Papi chaipo pavari kuti ZIDERA yatiuraya. And so before I go, ladies and gentlemen, let me say what is the story behind the resignation? We'll talk about it next time. Estonian. Akangobviswa pa public side, but behind the scenes he's still earning everything as a vice president. And maona material possessions. Hanzi navachamisa. Material possessions would make you better or happier. Those vakataurwa na President Chamisa pavaitaura address yavo. Kuti tiri kuona vamwe vanhu vakutsvaga material possessions, material gains. They will never make you better or happier whilst Zimbabweans are suffering. Vana Lillian Timovius, they've chosen for material possessions. Kunyengwa pa phone kuda mota. She will never live a happier life. And she will never be better in anything. Our brothers and sisters, how do you feel if someone complain against you? It's very unfortunate, Alud. You can't make everyone happy, my brother. You can't make everyone happy. It is your goal. You are bound to be yourself. Don't try to appease everyone. Don't try to make everyone happy. Let them complain about you. Otherwise, you will lose yourself. Just be yourself. Don't be controlled. Because to be honest, you can't make everyone happy in this world. You can't. Because they are not even happy with what I'm doing, with what I'm saying. They are not happy. They are not happy about the truth I say. And I use documentary evidence to pin them down. So they are not happy at all. So you can't be realistic. It's not easy. Being perfect is unrealistic, my brother. So don't worry about them. Just tell them that you are a better version of a human being than themselves. You are a better version of a human being than ZANU-PF. So pursue your goal. This is why I pursue my goal on daily basis. Ukaona uchi oppose ZANU-PF, you are a better version of a human being. Continue in that lane. Don't divert. And Mgoma and Masura say, as boss, I missed the session today. You listen to it later on. It's affect me, Yuda. No. Don't get affected. You are a better version of a human being. Be yourself. Don't let them control you. Know what you want to pursue. I was here now. Because being perfect, that's unrealistic. Every human being makes errors. And I can't make everyone happy. So be yourself, my brother. That's my advice to you. That's my advice to you. And because you are on my precious memories, Ako. Even on your deathbed, you still have your precious memories. Because anenge ane ma special memories akuti haanda akuenda but ndakambodai. You smile. Thanks Mkoma blessing. Andini maona ndakatoshamisika ndichiona na Lillian Timovius vachiti vakunotsvaga happiness kuzanu. Hakuna chinhu chinonzi happiness kuzanu PF. Hanzi Mkoma Yuda, good to hear your voice. I miss everything tonight. You can still replay it when I finish Mkoma Tawan. Don't worry. It's there. I'll upload it on YouTube so that it will be there for 1 million years to come. And tenge tichiona Bora now quenching down with the Mr. Yuda files. Say, Chris Somo, I'm well. I'm just waiting for questions so that I can close down. I've been here for 2.5 hours. I've been here for 2.5 hours. I know you can't grasp everything that I've said at the moment, but take time, sit down, listen to what I've said about ZANU-PF. Because next time I'm coming to talk about ZIDERA before I venture into the Gukurahundi issue. I'm still waiting for the file Gukurahundi. When it comes, then I go into detail. So that those who were involved, please, they need to apologize. So our country can move forward. And anymore, don't hate me, guys. Probably it's God who is pushing me to talk. And when time to go comes, I don't know when, but the day shall be there. One day I will die. I will leave these videos for you, your children, and the generations to come to really understand what was happening our time. And so what we just need to do is make a consistent effort to make sure that we leave information to the next generation. And no worries, desire. You can still replay the video. So wise words is just, guys, say wise words. Shakataurona President Chamisa. Let's listen to him again. To Batazio. Listen to all these videos. Download them. Send driver Reserva so that they understand what I'm telling them. Intimidation, coercion by ZANU-PF will never bring economic recovery or anything that our economic is wishing to. But in an economy which is wishing to. And in the morning. Saka wanofunga kuti they are our rivalries. They want to make our life miserable. Guys, tell them to hell with you. To hell with the ZANU-PF. And ndapedza. Ndadini to hell with the ZANU-PF. Ndapedza. Good night.